All right, let's just dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking something pretty unique. It's an incredibly raw, completely unedited 26-day diary from a young professional named Joe. He's a Brazilian, Japanese, Peruvian expat who recently moved back to Okinawa, Japan. Now, what makes this story so captivating isn't that he's some billionaire who already has it all figured out. Actually, it's the exact opposite. We're looking at the messy, frustrating reality of starting over. He's navigating a confusing new job, battling some extreme laziness, all while chasing these massive ambitions to build an AI empire and eventually immigrate to the United States.
Here's our quick roadmap for the day. 1. The ambition and the grind. 2. Escaping the comfort zone. 3. The AI automation pivot. 4. Hacking sleep and focus. 5. Navigating the frustration loop. And 6. Becoming better than yesterday. Let's get right to it.
Section 1. The ambition and the grind. Let's start by looking at that massive gap between grand dreams and, well, the daily grind.
Joe's overarching mission statement here is just absolutely refreshing. He explicitly decides to ditch the fancy cuts and filters for his video diaries, literally saying, I want the real stuff. You know, in a world that is just completely dominated by instant gratification and polished, fake realities on social media, Joe's unglamorous truth of building a business is exactly what we need to see. He wants to document the actual, real-life struggle.
Talk about a reality check, right? This is the ultimate clash of expectation versus reality. The dream? Move to the US, build a massive AI agency, and achieve total financial freedom. But the reality? Well, it's working an 8-to-5 job in humid, rainy Okinawa, getting thrown into complex government contract translation work with absolutely zero training. They literally just assumed he knew how to do everything. It's this intense friction between where you desperately want to be and where you actually are right now.
Section 2. Escaping the comfort zone.
Now, what's really fascinating about this next phase is seeing just how easily the comfort zone becomes a trap, especially when your daily reality is draining your energy.
When you're faced with zero motivation, a super confusing new job, and gloomy weather, well, Joe finds himself slipping into these incredibly relatable, mundane habits instead of actually working on his business. Let's be honest, we've all been there. He literally binges the entire Naruto series, like from episode 0 all the way to the end. He falls asleep to Netflix every single night just because he can't stand the silence. He's wrecking his health by surviving on cup noodles and this sweet cherry maple beef jerky from Buc-ee's that his wife brought back from Texas. And his sleep schedule, it gets so out of whack that he starts waking up randomly at 2 in the morning. Basically, his body is physically exhausted and his brain is just totally checked out.
So, the big question is, how do we actually break out of this cycle of laziness? How do we overcome this kind of profound boredom and find the drive to do the hard work? Well, Joe ends up asking a local Okinawan potter, a guy who's been making pottery for 50 years, how he never got bored. And the potter's answer? He absolutely did get bored. He got tired, he got sick of it, but the thing that kept him going was his family. The people he loved told him to keep going. That's when it clicks for Joe. He realizes that to overcome his own boredom and laziness, he has to remember his why. And his why is building a life of freedom for his wife and family.
Section 3. The AI automation pivot. Okay, it's time to stop the doom scrolling and start learning some high-value skills. Joe decides to buckle down and learn how to build AI automations. And he quickly realizes that an AI isn't just a basic chatbot that writes emails for you. It's a fully functional digital employee, an AI agent. But here's the catch. An AI agent requires incredibly detailed commands and parameters. If you don't define exactly what the AI should do and exactly how it should do it, the whole system is going to crash, or worse, hallucinate and completely derail your workflows.
To truly master this, he breaks down the complex architecture of automation into some really foundational steps. Step 1 is mastering APIs, which basically act as the specific commands that trigger an action. Think get or post. Then, step 2 is understanding schemes, which dictate exactly where that command goes and how the transaction operates. Joe has this huge realization that to build a real AI business, humans have to be the ones in control. We are the architects. The AI is simply the worker executing the plan.
Section 4. Hacking sleep and focus. Because, let's face it, to learn complex systems like APIs, you absolutely have to recharge a fried brain.
He starts diving into sleep science from a CEO podcast and discovers that the whole 8 hours of sleep rule, it's kind of a myth. It's way more about quality over quantity, and it's deeply tied to your personal chronotype. So, are you a lion, hyperactive in the morning but dead on your feet by the afternoon? Maybe you're a bear, perfectly wired for the traditional 9 to 5. A dolphin with totally irregular patterns? Or are you a wolf, someone who struggles to wake up but absolutely thrives deep into the night? Understanding your inner animal is absolutely crucial to optimizing exactly when you should sit down to do your deep, difficult work.
Building on that, he uncovers some incredibly actionable sleep hacks to hit reset on his brain. Getting 15 minutes of direct morning sunlight every single day, that is non-negotiable for vitamin D and zinc. Dropping screen time 2 to 3 hours before bed is absolutely crucial. So yeah, no more falling asleep to Netflix. But my personal favorite on this list has to be the coffee nap. If you are desperate for focus, here's what you do. Drink a quick shot of espresso, instantly go to sleep for 20 to 30 minutes, and you will literally wake up with 4 solid hours of intense mental clarity. Applying these specific hacks is what allows Joe to finally escape the brain fog and regain the energy he needs to build his empire.
Section 5. Navigating the frustration loop. Because even with good sleep, reality is going to hit you hard. This timeline is just brilliant. It perfectly visualizes the painful journey of learning any new high-level skill. You start out in Phase 1, unknown positiveness. You know, you're blindly optimistic just because you don't know what you don't know yet. Then reality sets in, and boom, you hit Phase 2, frustration. As you slowly start to figure things out, you enter Phase 3, understanding. But watch out, because this is actually a really dangerous loop. Why? Because this is the exact moment you understand just how hard, how expensive, and how long the journey is actually going to be. This is where most people quit and loop right back to the beginning with a shiny new idea. Only a very persistent few push through to Phase 4, breakthrough success.
And that brings us to the absolute core takeaway of Joe's journey so far. The true test of an entrepreneur is refusing to quit when you fully understand how difficult the journey actually is. When Joe starts trying to build these AI workflows on platforms like N8N, he realizes that accessing APIs costs money he currently just doesn't have. He hits that massive wall of frustration. He is stuck right there in the loop. But he makes the active, conscious choice to say, "No way, I am not going to give up. I will figure this out."
Section 6. Becoming better than yesterday. Let's ground these grand ambitions back into our everyday reality.
When Joe's wife finally gets back home from her trip, he has this profound realization about his environment. He implements this concept of signal versus noise. Signal represents the goals that actually matter: your family, your health, your business. To put that into perspective, Steve Jobs operated with about 80% signal, and Elon Musk operates at nearly 100% signal. Noise, on the other hand, is the distraction that completely derails you: the Netflix binges, the endless doom scrolling, the junk food. Having his wife back gives Joe the strength to just completely cut out the noise and focus purely on the signal.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a powerful thought from Joe's diary. You don't need to build an empire overnight. You don't need to be a billionaire today. You just need to be a little bit better than you were yesterday. If you've read a book instead of doom scrolling, you're winning. So, I'll leave you with this question. What piece of noise are you going to aggressively cut out of your life today? Choose your signal right now, and the empire will follow tomorrow.